St. Fiachra, also called Fíachrach mac Colmain, c. 500, the 25th of July 558, was the Bishop of Armagh, Ireland from 548 to 558. Genealogy and birth. St. Fiachra was a descendant of Muradach Collar Fíachrach, one of the three collars. His genealogy is Fiachra Colmain Ohinem Bayadain Moilela Suivni Mawaliduan Fianain Moilela Morat Hagmai Iom Collar Darkriak, which is also confirmed in the Senkus Naemh Naranas Silnasi Collar 94. Fiachra mac Colmain Desaiol Collar Darkro each Koya de Rieriolachni Hequoya. His mother was Anne, embroideress. Fiachra was born c. 500 AD in an Axenmail, the marsh of the ancient prince, Bishop of Armagh, on the death of Dobthach II, also called Duet II, the Bishop of Armagh, in 548. St. Fiachra was appointed as the 10th successor to St. Patrick. He reigned as bishop for 10 years. In the old text Suadigad Telag Temra, the settling of the manor of Tara, the nobles of Ireland are attempting to partition Tara and they send for Fiachra as follows. The nobles of Ireland were then summoned to the feast to the house of Tara by Diarmait son of Serbal, and they said that they would not partake of the feast of Tara until the settling of the manor of Tara was determined, how it was before their day and how it would be after them for all time. And they delivered that answer to Diarmait. And Diarmait replied that it was not right to ask him to partition the manor of Tara without taking counsel of Llanfebla son of Scanlan son of Fingon, that is, the head of Ireland and the successor of Patrick, or of Fiachra son of the embroideress. Messengers were accordingly dispatched to Fiachra son of Colmain son of Eogan, and he was brought unto them to help them. For few were the learned men, and many were their unlearned, and numerous their contentions and their problems. Then Fiachra arrived, and they asked the same thing of him, namely to partition for them the manor of Tara. And he answered them that he would not give a decision on that matter until they should send for one wiser and older than himself. Where is he? Said they. No hard matter that, said he. Even send Fiad son of Ailil son of Muradach son of Eogan son of Nile. It is from his head, said he, that the brain of forgetfulness was removed at the battle of Marath. That is to say, he remembers all that he heard on the history of Ireland from that time down to the present day. It is right that he should come to decide for you. Quote, there has been considerable confusion generated for centuries among scholars by the following entries in the Irish Annals. Annals of the Four Masters 550, David, son of Gwea for Annan, Bishop of Armagh and Legate of all Ireland, died. Quote, Annals of Ulster 551, Repose of Dorad of Faranan, son of Gwea descendant of Faranan, Bishop of Armagh and Legate of all Ireland. Quote, Annals of Ulster 553, or here, the Repose of Dorad, Bishop of Armagh and Legate. All the oldest lists, contained in the Book of Leinster, Psalter of Cashel, Yellow Book of Lecan and Liber Brack, make Fiachra the successor of Duach and have no mention of aforesaid David mac Gwea. There are four possible explanations for the above annalistic entries on David mac Gwea. 1. That he was in reality the same person as Duet II, the successor of Patrick, who died in 548. This option was mooted by Professor James Coney, who stated, this David is obviously identical, although the annals do not recognize the fact, with the Duach, or rather Dori, who died in 548. Dorad is apparently a Latinization of Dori, the obit of David Faranan, together with the statement that he was legatus, has apparently come into the annals from some unknown and rather late source. The objection to this view is that there already exists prior entries in the annals relating to Duach II. Annals of Ulster 548, Dub Fiachra Duach, of the seed of Colmáin, Abbot of Armagh, rested. Quote, Annals of the Four Masters 547, Saint Dubthach, Abbot of Armagh, died. He was of the race of Colmáin. Furthermore, the Book of Leinster list states Duach was a member of the Uí Tortri clan, whereas David was a member of the Uí Faranan clan. Also, Duach is described only as an abbot, while David is described only as a bishop. 2. The second possible explanation is that David and Fiachra was the same person. This option was proposed by John Colgan, who felt that Fiachra was his tribal name rather than his Christian name, because Uí Faranan was the family name of the Hurenics of Ardstraw, County Tyrone, while the surrounding tribe was called the Uí Fíachrach of Ardistratha. E.g. the entry in the Annals of the Four Masters for 949 AD, where Uí Faranan, Echinich of Ardstratha, died. Quote, the objections to this view are firstly that David died in 551 while Fiachra died in 558, and secondly that David's father was Gwer while Fiachra's father was Colmain. 3. The next possible explanation is that David succeeded Duach II in 548 and died 3 years later, in 551. This option is accepted by Cotton and by Ware. As none of the early succession lists mention David, then this is unlikely. 4. The fourth and likeliest explanation is that David and Fiachra did live at the same time, but that only Fiachra was the co-arbor recognized successor of Saint Patrick. At that time there were two separate chief ecclesiastical offices in Armagh, the abbot and the bishop. Sometimes the posts were held by different men, and sometimes the same man held both titles. It was not necessary for Patrick's successor to be both abbot and bishop. He could hold either post. This is the only explanation that gets over the objections raised above. I.e., Fiachra was the abbot of Armagh, as described in the Annals from the Book of Leinster, and co-ob in succession to Saint Patrick, as described in the early succession lists of Armagh, while David MacWare was the Bishop of Armagh until his death in 551 AD, as described in the Annals of Ulster and the Four Masters. But he was not successor or co-ob of Saint Patrick. There is no conflict here, as nowhere is David described as either an abbot or successor to Saint Patrick, and nowhere is Fiachra described as a bishop. Death. St. Fiachra died on the 25th of July 558 AD. The only mention of his obit in the Irish Annals is in the Annals from the Book of Leinster, which states, Fiachra, abbot of Armagh, died during the reign of the High King Diarmaid Maxabale, who died in 565. Feast day. After his death, Fiachra was venerated as a saint, and his feast was celebrated on the 25th of July, the day of his death. The calendars of the saints have the following entries. Martyrology of Colmain 25 July, 2 Fiachras, the White Great Ones. Martyrology of Donegal 25 July, another Fiachra. There is a Fiachra, son of Colmain, son of Owen, of the race of Colladart. Quote,